everyone, LaCora Stevens with the Yes Show, Young, Entertaining, and Saved. So, today is Monday, June, I think it's the 11th today. And I had to come with an update regarding Black Lives Matter and what's happening here in California, or at least Pasadena, Los Angeles, Glendale area. So Robert and I, my segment co-host of He Say, She Say, we were talking about how to bring about change, how to make a difference with all this. You know, we've been up at my apartment like 2 days in a row till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then after he left, he's still up, I'm still up, just trying to think of solutions. What can we do? It's just been so much, you know what I mean? Very stressful, just tiresome, you know? So we were like, well, what can we do? So I'm getting a glare here. You guys, let me fix this glare. Okay, I think that's better. So we decided, well, what can we do? So I found out about a meeting that was happening in front of City Hall at 6 o'clock. And at first I'm like, 6 o'clock? City Hall on a Sunday, no one's going to be there. What is this about? I was just irritated about it. And then the woman who gave me the information gave me more details that there were, you know, supposed to be officers, other churches, the news, and they were talking. And basically Robert went to that event. He said the gist of it, basically what he got, the nugget, was that these pastors and churches came together in solidarity. I think it was about 5 churches or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But he said what resonated with him the most is there was a pastor of a predominantly Caucasian church, and the pastor encouraged his fellow members, his peers, to basically stand in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in Christ, even though they may be of African American descent, because a lot of times, sometimes they say, well, I don't know, I'm a Christian and this may be wrong, but I don't want to get involved. So he basically encouraged them to do so. And I'm not sure if you saw old Hillary Clinton, she too did the same thing. She was like, white people, I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but white people, we have to put, you know, think about putting their shoes on our feet and walking the walk that they have walked. White people, we cannot sit back. And she kept addressing them as white people. It was just kind of funny to me. I don't know why. So anyways, that was Robert's eventful day in regards to being out and about in the midst of it, instead of in the comfort of our homes, just socially talking about it. What I ended up doing, I went to a Black Lives Matter meeting, Black Lives Matters, LA, and it was awesome. It's interesting though. I went there, and this young man, I was standing beside him, and he looked at me. I looked at him. He said, "How you doing?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, I really didn't know how I felt. Even being there, seeing all these people, I'm like, all right, is this organized? Because there were so many people, but they were organized. And then upon me getting there, there's a man telling me, oh, well, we're going to be taking cell phones. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I kind of like that feel. You know, I like stealthy things, and I like things that are kind of like top secret kind of thing. So I was like, that's cool, but we didn't get the memo. I parked extremely far, you know, so, and then I see all these people, I'm hearing drums, I smell sage, I see a rainbow of people. This building only held 200 folks, but they faced a beautiful problem that day. And the beautiful problem was, instead of getting 200, they had at least 2,000 and counting. It was crazy. So they had to quickly improvise and decide, what can we do? Because this was supposed to be a meeting of the minds, to where, you know, we're taking notes, we're finding solutions. No cameras allowed, no media allowed, no police, no county board members or anything like that. And I'm like, this is pretty nice. I like this. I like this, you know, setting up a scene for something. You know, I always thought if I was born back then in the day, I would probably be, you know, at the table with Martin Luther King or Malcolm X trying to figure out what to do, you know. But I'm here in 2016. So now I'm with Rob's trying to figure out what to do. So anyways, to make a long story short, they quickly improvised. They did not have any type of amplified sound, so they're using their throat, they're using their diaphragm to get this message across, to tell the people, stand back, so that the people that were early, you know, smart, the 200 people on the inside, they had to get out, and we had to make our way to this park. And one of the creators of Black Lives Matter movement, she was there, from Black Lives Matter Network. She was there, she spoke, and it was interesting because once we got to the park, she greeted everyone. She said, "Thank you so much for coming." I stood and I clapped for this young lady, to be a young Black woman and be part of such a change, something that will be documented in history books. So I stood, then somebody else stood, and then another joker stood. And then before you know it, everyone stood. And she just stood there, and I was just like, look at her. And we sat down. And then she went on to greet the people. And she's like, I want to greet my friends, family, everyone here is for a solution, but I also have to greet my enemies. Because we all know, and it would be ignorant of me to think that everyone here is here for solutions. And I was like, now that's true. Now she also mentioned that she had to get that from Malcolm X, because that enlightened her to know that just because people show up does not mean that they are for you. Just because people show up does not mean that they are for you. And I was like, yeah, come on, sister, this is good, this is good. So then we go on and we talk about not only the life of Alton Sterling or Philando Castile. They go on to talk about young Black men and young Black women that have been murdered by police officers here in Los Angeles. There was one young man, his family was there. This young brother was killed with handcuffs on. They shot this young brother with handcuffs. And I'm like, what? I didn't even know about this. Didn't even know. And the cop said he felt threatened because this young man was allegedly affiliated with gangs. So he felt threatened. And I'm like, this can't be. So, you guys, it was really, really great. At one point, there was a part of this particular meeting. Well, it was supposed to be a meeting, but it ended up becoming something. Like I said, they had a beautiful problem. They had a beautiful problem that more than 200 people, they just were not expecting that, but they thought quickly. And during the midst of them speaking, there was a young man talking. And, you know, it just got people riled up, and I'm standing there and I have my little fist in the air, this beautiful, Black, powerful, cute fist just up in the air. And I just got these goosebumps. I got these goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God. Almost like the moment when I went to see President Barack Obama, the inauguration, his very first one. It was like nothing like that I had experienced. And I was like, this is some magical stuff. But I felt awesome. Let me just say that. And then after they proceeded, you know, with all of this commentary and thoughts and prayers and libations and all that stuff, they were like, we're going to make our way to the street. So we took our way to the street. And people in Inglewood were giving us love. They were honking. I was there with one of my friends. And she's like, girl, I don't know. You know, do you think the people are honking because they're upset or happy? And we looked. And these people had their fist outside the window. They had their peace sign outside the window. They were honking. They had their, it was so funny because it was either one kind of driver that was driving like this and had their fist or peace sign in the air, or it was another kind of driver that was driving like this and had their camera trying to drive. And so we were kind of laughing and smiling because it was just filled with much support. Not just with Black people, but there were also Latino people, like the Brown Berets were there. this Chicano movement, you should have seen these women with their cute little brown berets, their little t-shirts, and they're up there with their hands behind their back just scoping. Security, eyes, yes, here, I'm watching you. It was awesome. And then we also had our brothers there from the Muslims, and they were up there, and I'm just like, come on now, brothers, with their little bow ties and their suits. And they were serious too. They had their hands behind their back. Some had on glasses, and they were looking, they were scoping. They was like, yes, I see you. It was awesome, and I loved it. And then we had our white brothers and sisters. We had our Asian, very limited amount of them, but a great amount of whites and Latino. And I just thought that that was a beautiful thing. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish I could have experienced what they had planned in regards to, you know, the meeting. I'm getting that haze across that. Y'all see that? But I'm just going to go on with it. I can't move this camera anymore. But it was just beautiful. It was wonderful. And I encourage you to take part of it. A little side note about this. I'm going to move the camera. So I hope y'all see me just fine. But a side note, there were some celebrities. We're in LA. We're in LA. So of course you're going to get some celebrities. Some are down for the cause, whether you know it or not, whether they are verbal about it or not. We have to be slow to speak on who's doing what and who isn't doing what, because you just never know. Just because it isn't publicized does not mean that they're not doing it. Just because you don't know about it does not mean it is not happening. Okay? So, some celebrities that joined us were V. Bozeman. She was there at the very beginning. She's that beautiful chocolate sister with, you know, the bald head on Empire. Great voice. I love that song with Timberland. I know when I'm on, make it when I see you smile. So I really like that song. She was there. Devon Franklin was there. Megan Good was there. And Dondre Whitfield was there. It's so funny because we passed through KJLH 102.3. It's a radio station out here owned by Stevie Wonder, legendary Stevie Wonder, one that is still standing. And they came, it was so funny, y'all. We were marching by and we were like chanting different things like, hey, hey, yo, yo, racist cops, they have to go. You know, things like that. Or Black Lives, they matter. Yes, Black Lives, they matter. Yes, like different things like that. So security is peeping out of KJLH and they're like, what happened? You know, who's that peeping through my window? Pal? Nobody? Now, what y'all know about Goody Mob? Anyways, I digress. So, they were actually in the midst of a radio program called Dear Black Man. Dr. Holly Carter, she was there. She's executive producer of, you know, Preachers of LA, Fix My Choir, Molly Music's manager. She's just awesome. Okay, so she was also marching those mean streets of Inglewood for the cause. I said, and I saw her first. I'm like, Dr. Holly Carter, you out here walking these mean streets of Inglewood for the cause? And she looks, she's like, hey, sister, you know. And then I saw Devon Franklin and then I said, Devon and Megan, y'all out here too, walking these mean streets of Inglewood for the cause. And they laughed, and Devon was like, so what's going on? You know, we just heard everything, so we said we have to be a part of this, and they were a part of it. So you guys, it was a great experience. I encourage you to be a part of the cause. You know, it's great, right, to be in front of the computer, type, do what you have to do. You have your AC going, you have your water, your soda, your tea, whatever it is you need to feel comfortable in the means of your home. But when you step outside of those four walls and you experience something, the unknown, you don't even know what's going to happen, but you know that it's for a great cause. That is remarkable. And that is worth talking about. And that is something you should do. I encourage you, whatever is happening, we literally protested with peace in the streets. They even formulated a peace sign in the middle of the streets by that famous donut sign. I'm not from LA, but anyone from LA knows what I'm talking about, by the airport. I think it was featured in like Snoop Dogg videos back in the day. I don't know. 1, 2, 3 into the 4. I wasn't always saved, y'all. So anyways, you guys, I just had to share. It was a great, great time. It was something that, you know, you kind of write down, you tell your kids about, like when I went to the inauguration or winning a brand new car, whatever, you know, just those stories you have that just kind of go in your pocket and you're just like, thank you, God, for allowing me to experience this. That's what I was doing in that moment. So, you guys, I'm getting sun flares on the screen because I'm getting light on my camera and I have to keep moving it. But I hope you guys feel encouraged to go out and do the same. There's even one more thing, because I want to ask y'all this. Can y'all see me? Okay, I think y'all see me. I want to ask y'all something. Now, in Pasadena this Thursday, what's happening, my friend told me that there's a church here. There's 2 marches and protests that plan on happening. One is from John Muir High School, right? Great. The other one is from a church. Great. Now, and I said, well, they're like, oh, we have to decide, you know, how they're going to work this out so they won't, you know, intermingle and mess up each other's protests. I'm like, well, why won't they just do this together? It's for the same cause. And he was like, well, not exactly. You know, the church, they all plan on wearing all white, and they're doing this because all lives matter. I said, well, what do you mean? He was like, oh, you don't like that? And I said, now, I don't like the fact that they're trying to make it about, like, Black Lives Matter means that no other lives matter. And I'm going to share this with y'all. This is a picture that I received, and it broke it down just wonderfully, I think. For those people that think that Black Lives Matter is problematic. You know, and that's what bothers me with the church sometimes. You want to sit here and be so politically correct, but you're not politically correct when you're asking for that tithe, when you're asking for that jet. You're not so politically correct when you're looking at those sisters walk through with them tight skirt on, or you know you're not. But yet, when it comes to issues like this, you want to be so politically correct, talking about all lives matter. Yes, all lives do matter. That's stating the obvious. However, the problem is that right now people don't see that Black lives matter. So how dare you try to say, church, that all lives matter to negate the fact that Black lives matter. This is the picture that I'm talking about right here. It says, let's be clear. We said Black Lives Matter. We never said only Black Lives Matter. That was the media, not us. In truth, we know that all lives matter. We've supported your lives throughout history. Now we need your help with Black Lives Matter, for Black lives are in danger. Now this was a quote from Gene Testimony Hall. I don't know who that brother is or who that sister is, but I just thought it was pretty dope. So church, if you're out there with your all white on talking about all lives matters, don't get it twisted. We understand that. We know that you're stating the obvious. All right? So for you not to want to intermingle with another protest as if there is something different happening, get it together. Get over yourselves. Go grab your Bible with your self-righteous self and ask, what would Christ do in a situation like this? Wait, did I just get too church on y'all with that? But seriously, our Black brothers and sisters are dying in the street. Call a spade a spade. Blood or no blood, church or no church, get off and behind that pulpit and do what you need to do instead of trying to be politically correct, because that's what the church used to do. Y'all, this got left real quick, right? I'm so sorry, but I want to know y'all opinion. Is the church right or are they wrong? Am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. I would love to hear your feedback. Because sometimes I have to ask people, am I tripping, y'all? You know, there's some situations going on and I'm like, Robs, is your girl tripping? Am I tripping? And sometimes I do trip. And it's all right. That's why I have real people. Even though Robert gets on my nerves, he's probably one of the most realist people I know. Because he talks a lot now. His joke will go on and on. Look, isn't this the popcorn calling the kangaroo jumping? Let me just stop, because at the end of the day, this video, I don't even know how long it is, but Robert is very real at the end of the day. Child, some of these other folks, you think they real, honey. Then you work with them and you see their true colors and you're like, you're ugly. Your spirit is so tainted and dark and ugly. But that's a story for another day. All right, y'all, listen, I have to go. But thank y'all so much for listening, watching, tuning in. It's just an update. This is just me, LaCora, with the Yes Show. Make sure you comment. Make sure you guys subscribe. And make sure you just basically visit our Facebook page, our Instagram. It's all the Yes Show. And I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you so much. And God bless. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.